Now, once upon a time in professional wrestling, it used to matter what the fans thought.
For example, all you parents out there with kids, when your kids misbehave, you give the New Day a call. The New Day comes over to your house, and we will fight your children.
Now don't get me wrong, a lot of wrestling sucks, but when it's good, it's fucking great. Wrestling is melodrama, wrestling is mythology, wrestling is action, wrestling is comic books. The only thing wrestling isn't is wrestling.
Who wants to take back professional wrestling?
But here's why I'm here. It's because this is a statement. That's what this show is. It's a statement to YouTube that wrestling does not deserve to be classified, tarred with the same brush as hate speech, because what hate speech does is it tears people apart. What wrestling does is it brings all of these people together here tonight.
Okay, fourth time's a charm. This is a lot easier when I have someone else to talk to. Hey, I'm Silky Dave Brown, one half of your host. This is Around the Ring, episode 99. We're on the road to 100. As you can tell by that, I've been trying this multiple times and screwing up royally because your Floyd and Savior and my personal savior, Floyd Johnson Jr., is not with us today. He is off in the beach, man. It is that time of year. It is Floyd's birthday. It's time to celebrate with a cake that'll give you diabetes. If you've seen the picture, you know what I'm talking about. Holy moly, what a cake. Anyway, Floyd is off doing great fun stuff with his lady, and we are going to talk a little bit of wrestling this week. It's going to be a bit of a shorter show because, reasons. A few things to talk about. First thing we're going to get into, the little bit you heard at the beginning of the show there after the intro, that was Adam, or now known as Plumpy, from WhatCulture.com and What Culture Pro Wrestling, and they had an event called Fight Back. There's a situation with YouTube and pro wrestling, and it's getting kind of ugly. So, for those of you who don't know, here's what's going on. YouTube, well, okay, so it goes back to a news article that was written about a YouTuber, a very prominent YouTuber, a guy who goes by the name PewDiePie. He's not actually named PewDiePie. Who the fuck would name their kid PewDiePie? No one, because it's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, here as I say with my nickname of Silky and Lefty. But anywho, so some reporter went through hours upon hours upon hours of PewDiePie videos, and there are a lot. And he is one of the biggest content creators on YouTube. He's hugely successful. Crazy bastard makes millions of dollars just by acting like a complete, dingus on YouTube. Wish I could do that. Anywho, so this report goes out, and they took some things that he said out of context that sounded very, very hate speechy, very racist, very anti-Semitic, and ran a story and basically said, hey, look, YouTube, look, advertisers, here's this video of this guy saying these crazy things, and your ads are on there. And they also went through, and my God, these people had a lot of time on their hands, but they scoured YouTube, found some terrorist videos that had been monetized, found a few other hate speech things that had been monetized, and just hadn't been caught yet by the YouTube monitoring. So YouTube did, and Google did what any major corporation does, and freaked the fuck out, and went to their advertisers, because advertisers also freaked out and left. And so YouTube said, we're going to change our algorithms, and we're going to mark a whole bunch of stuff as not family friendly, not kid friendly, and not advertiser friendly. And so they did, with a giant stroke of a brush, marked a whole lot of things as unfriendly for advertisers. One of those big things was professional wrestling. Any videos regarding wrestling are now basically not monetized. if you go to watch a video, say a What Culture video, or a Solid Monster video, or Going in Raw, or Wrestling with Regret, or any of those things, and if you're not logged in to your account on YouTube, you're probably not going to see it. Even with a direct link, it's going to tell you that you can't watch this. You log in and it works just fine. So there's that, and a lot of advertisers have pulled their videos from anything that is deemed as unadvertiser friendly, and this has caused a lot of troubles. What Culture is a website that has done a lot of videos, a lot of ranking videos. They've done a whole section on wrestling for years, and they actually do really good stuff. I really enjoy their channel. And at some point about a year ago, they decided to start their own wrestling promotion, because right now they're based out of the UK. Professional wrestling in the UK is super hot. You've got Progress, you've got Rev Pro, you've got ICW. All these promotions are just on fire. And so they got into it and started their own promotion, and they had weekly shows on YouTube that would run for free. Because they could make money from the advertising. Well, they had to actually cancel that show. They, in fact, had to cancel a whole set of tapings because of this, because they're not getting any of the revenue. They're still doing pay-per-views, which you get, I think, through YouTube or through their website. I've never actually gone that far to look into their promotion, and I really should, because I do like What Culture a lot. But they had to cancel tapings, they had to cancel a whole lot of stuff, which means not only are they losing money through ad revenue, a bunch of wrestlers lost a payday. And so wrestling videos, content creators are noticing huge drops in the amount of income that they're making. What Culture Wrestling also put up a video where they reached out to a whole lot of wrestling YouTubers to have them come on and say, hey, what's going on? How is this affecting you? And they had Brian Zane from Wrestling with Regret. He told a story about how he had, about a year ago, quit his day job to focus on doing YouTube, to try and make a career out of it. And he has seen a gigantic drop in his income because of this. The Going in Raw guys said similar things. Then there was a Lady Luge, I think is her name, who said that she is making 25 to 35% of what she used to make. That's crazy. All because of the way that YouTube has adjusted their algorithms and the way that they market, so to speak, videos. So here's the thing. YouTube doesn't realize the power that they have. Now, from Google's standpoint, YouTube is a service that I'm guessing is horrifically expensive to maintain. And it's my understanding that YouTube has never really turned a profit. But it makes money, so I think it makes enough to stay open, essentially. But it's not raking in the dollars. But they've always had a good relationship with content creators, because without the content creators, YouTube's got nothing, man. YouTube has dickus wickus without people out there making videos and uploading crap. And the thing that YouTube offers is they offer so much more information to advertisers, and they can actually really get specific about things that they can offer advertisers. Like, okay, well, let's say, I don't know, Coca-Cola. I'm just pulling a company out of the thin air. Coca-Cola can spend $1 million advertising on, say, TBS, and has some demographic information, but not a ton. And may get some good results from that. Or they could advertise on YouTube with very specific, hitting very specific target audiences, and could probably reach a lot more customers that will actually turn around and buy their product. Now, how much advertising on YouTube helps, or how much advertising in this day and age helps push a product in general, I don't know. A lot of it just has to do with getting word out and whatnot. I'm not an advertising expert at all, so that's not something I know about. But what I do know is that YouTube is an incredibly powerful platform. Because let's be honest, kids nowadays are completely informed by YouTube. They get their social cues, what's cool, what's, hip and happening. That all comes from YouTube. When I was a kid growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, in my teenage years, it was MTV. MTV, told us what music was cool, what clothes, everything. MTV informed us as a generation. This generation, somewhat the millennials, but mostly the generation that comes after the millennials, the kids born 2000 and later, which I think is called Generation Z, but don't quote me on that. I've seen another name for it, but I've forgotten. That generation is still pretty young and hasn't really solidified to get its own identity. That'll happen probably in the next 10 years. We're still, millennials are still all over the place right now, so... and that's not a shot at millennials, though I do feel, as a proud member of Generation X, a bit squeezed by the generation before me and after me. That's a whole other story. Anyway. But kids, where was I going with this? They're totally informed by YouTube. And YouTube can offer things to advertisers that very few other services can. And they should take advantage of that. And they should, if Pepsi pulls out or Coca-Cola pulls out and says, we're not advertising with you anymore, all the YouTube has to say is, we understand, here are the things we have to offer, we hope to come back, and then go and look at other tailored things. Because think of it this way, think how many how-to videos are out there, right? So let's say, because anymore, you need to learn how to do something, you either Google it or you look it up on YouTube. And there's probably an instructional video out there telling you how to do it. Everything from fixing a carburetor, to making an omelet, to tying your shoes, to doing math or science problems. It's out there. And YouTube can use that to target specific advertisers. Let's say videos that have to do with cars, car repair, that kind of thing. They can tailor those to car manufacturers, car parts places like, Jiffy Lube, all those fucking people. They can do that. So YouTube has unlimited potential about what they can do and what they can offer to advertisers. And they need to kind of stand up for themselves in this and not be so reactionary. Now, the one thing I will say, I suspect that with all this with the algorithms, because something that I didn't play in that promo that Plumpy or Adam from What Culture said is that he is trying to help Vince McMahon make money because WWE is affected by this algorithm. I suspect WWE is not affected by this algorithm. I think that they have gone in and taken out the WWE from this because the WWE's channel is one of the largest channels on YouTube. They have an obnoxious amount of subscribers, get tons of views worldwide, and I'm pretty sure that they are going to stay in bed and keep that group really happy. Because what's going to happen if at some point enough of these content creators get frustrated and fed up, some other service is going to show up and people are going to start going there. People, it used to be you search the internet, now you Google. That's because Google has been such a great service. If Google stops being a great search engine and something else comes along, that can change. Dogpile was right before Google hit, Dogpile was the big search engine. So there is the big chance that something else could come up and do what YouTube does, but differently. I mean, hell, I'm sure, there's sites like Dailymotion, which is and kind of skeevier ones out there. But then there's things like Go90, which is a very legit service. There's Vimeo, which has been around for a long time. And so if these things figure out how to do ad revenue sharing with content creators, and enough content creators go over there, especially if enough big ones go over there, then it can cause things to change. So the whole point of this is YouTube needs to change what they're doing, and they certainly need to not associate things like pro wrestling with hate speech, because it's just not. Yes, there is some crazy kooky shit in wrestling, and yes, you should tell advertisers, hey, if you are trying to advertise to a 6-year-old kid, probably, putting your ads on a WWE video or on an whatever wrestling page video is probably not appropriate. If you're selling beer, car parts, anything sports related, then yeah, put your ad on a wrestling video. And it's still, as long as the internet's been around, and it has been around for a while, there's still so much that people are trying to figure out, because it really has changed everything. 20 years ago we had the internet, but we didn't know where it was going to go with us, because still a very large number of people were using dial-up. And once that really kind of phased out and high speed took over in most areas, it changed the game. So much is still up in the air, because there's things that advertisers don't know how to do. Mediums that have been around for decades or centuries are having a hard time figuring out how to stay afloat. You think of newspapers, magazines, the record industry doesn't know what the fuck to do with itself, and people are having a hard time figuring out ways to really make money. And for a while there, a lot of people were making a lot of money on YouTube, and that bubble is kind of bursting right now. And if it fully bursts, then people have to make a living. And so if it gets to the point where someone like a PewDiePie or Billy Zane with Wrestling with Regret, or any of these people, if they can't afford to not have an actual day job, a steady paycheck, if they cannot live off of YouTube anymore, they're going to quit or greatly cut down the content that they're making, and they're going to go get a freaking job, because they need to eat. They probably have families and all that good stuff. So that's the thing YouTube has to be careful about. This is something that has been talked about a lot. I know Solomonster on his show has talked about it a number of times on episodes, and he mentioned last week that he saw a pretty big decrease in his income from YouTube. So that's pretty messed up. And a lot of people have set up Patreon pages or GoFundMes. A lot of people ask for PayPal donations and things like that to do what they do. And it's because it's hard making money anymore. And there's this great thing in America, that the idea that making money is easy. Making money is not easy. And I forget where I saw a tweet about that, or an article. But making money is not. It's this whole idea you just go out and get a job. Ooh, it's easy. No, it's not that simple. So people who have been able to make a lot of money on YouTube, God bless you. I hope you saved, and I hope you invested, because that is not something that's going to last forever. Now, I'm not one of those people that thinks YouTube is not a valid career option. I did it originally. My son, who is very involved with YouTube, loves it, makes videos himself. When he first talked about, all these people making all this money, and even him possibly wanting to do that for a career, I scoffed at it. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? How are these morons and numbnuts making all this money by talking jibber-jabber nonsense on YouTube, and why can't I get that money? Well, they got lucky and they worked their ass off, is what happened. And at this point, making a career out of YouTube is really not that different than trying to be an actor or an actress, trying to be in a band and making a lot of money. It's just a different form of entertainment. It's a different platform, so it just seems, for us old fogies, weird. And forgive us. I mean, we are old, so I'm sorry, but sometimes it takes people a while to see things differently. even for a generation like mine that lived through the change from analog to digital, it's still so much has changed, and it's a very different world, and so people make money in different ways, and we still haven't, as I said before, sussed it all out. We don't know what the hell's going on, where we're going to go, or any of this stuff. So that's the whole thing with YouTube. It's pretty messed up, and I'm hoping that YouTube realizes the power that they have and change things around. There is a petition floating around. It's linked in most of What Culture Pro Wrestling's videos right now that you can sign. It's at change.org. I've signed it. A lot of people have signed it. The thing with petitions, they're a nice sentiment, but nothing really ever changes from online petitions. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not discouraging people from doing these things. But, you almost have to hurt people where their money is. And the way to do that is stop watching YouTube videos, or use ad blocker all the time. Now, we here at Around the Ring, we have a YouTube channel, which we would love for you to subscribe to. You can head over to youtube.com/Around the Ring OK, and click that subscribe button. We do reviews of pay-per-views on there. We've also started adding those pay-per-view reviews to our just podcast feed. They come out a day later on the podcast feed than they do on YouTube itself. So there are a couple different ways for you to get that. We don't have anything monetized on YouTube at all. We don't have anything monetized on this podcast. In fact, the only reason we are able to do this is because our good friends at the Spark Radio Network allow us to do this. We help fill up content for them on the weekends, and they give us a place to host the show. That's the only way this happens, because God knows I'm poor AF and can't afford the cost of podcast hosting, so it's not cheap. And subsequently, for those out there that think, well, you can start a podcast or start a YouTube channel and just become rich off of it, all I can say is good luck. The biggest podcasts out there, I don't know any of them that actually make a full-time job out of it. Hell, even think Sam Roberts, who has a wrestling podcast. He has a full-time job on the radio. Most of the people doing these have other jobs or have other forms of income. It would be awesome to be able to do this for a living, but it's just like becoming a rock star, pop star, becoming a huge actor or actress. It takes hard work and a lot of luck and determination. And so for those of you out there who want to do that, I'm not discouraging you. Good luck. I hope it works out. But the thing you have to know is you're going to have to work harder than everyone else around you. And that's not always easy, because even with all that hard work, you may or may not take off. It's funny. Growing up, one of the things that our Generation X, learned growing up, we were always taught, you can be whatever you want, put your mind to it, and go to school, get your education. You can do anything. And as it's turned out, that's not necessarily a realistic goal or dream. It's awesome for those people who've been successful and been able to live out their dreams. My God, I'm happy for you. I'm proud for you. That's amazing. For a lot of people, you go to school, you get some job, and you get by. And it's this dream that we were taught that was so attainable, and it's a lot harder to attain than people think. But I digress. Didn't mean to get all deep. So that's that. That's my thoughts on the whole YouTube thing. So now, let's go down to something that happened on the TV this week. Something very cool. Samoa Joe and Monday Night Raw.
So I want to tell you something face to face, man to man.
I'm just a guy.
I understand that, and this is just between me and you. Something very bad is going to happen to you right now.
Joe, you're crowded.
Listen. I'm going to wrap my arm around your throat, and you're going to feel it tighten. Understand?
Oh my God! Joe's got Paul Heyman in the coquina clutch.
Sweet holy mother of Buddha, what? Oh, man, okay, so I have a hard time watching Monday Night Raw most weeks, timing and everything. I happen to watch most of this week's, or at least the first hour or so, and I'm so glad I did, because this segment was incredible. Samoa Joe's in the ring, cutting a promo, being very Samoa Joe-y, which is awesome. He is a tremendous heel. And out comes Paul Heyman, and they talk. And then they shake hands, and Samoa Joe backs Paul into a corner. Paul drops his mic, Samoa Joe drops his mic, and he just gets right up in his face, as you just heard, and says basically, I'm going to hurt you really bad. And then puts him in the coquina clutch and chokes him out. And it was so awesome, and it made Joe look so terrifying. And it was a home run. It was a damn home run, man. It's how often can you say that about something on WWE, let alone Monday Night Raw, that they really hit one out of the park. They hit one out of the park with this. This was fantastic. I can't say enough good things about it. It just blew me away. The whole thing was from the promo, from the back and forth of the two of them. Paul Heyman saying, you know, I came out here and talked to Finn Balor. Finn Balor was our best case scenario, and you were the worst case scenario. Paul Heyman has this ability of putting people over in a way that no one else does. It just tremendous. The whole thing just it was just great. And I'm not sure really what else to say about it. Oh, Paul Heyman at one point did have a great line. He said, "That's what I do as a Jew," which made me laugh. Apparently, some people got upset about that. I'm like, why? I don't know, other than the fact that he's Jewish, or he said the word Jew, and that made them uncomfortable, because God knows we're in such a politically correct environment. And there is reasons for that. I mean, you don't want to be douchebags, but then there's also people take it too far, just like with anything. Wow, I'm threatening to get deep again. But this segment was incredible. We will get Floyd's reactions about this next week, because this is one of those segments, even if you have to put off a week, you have to talk about this, because this was incredible. It's so well done. Sets the stage for their match, and which I'm actually looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Paul Heyman cutting more promos. I'm looking forward to Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe in a match. My only fear is that it's a squash. I don't think it's going to be, though. They'd be stupid to make it a squash, because here's the deal. Brock Lesnar ain't around very often. Not much at all. You don't get a lot out of him. He's earned that. Fine. I'm not saying good, bad, or anything. I'm not criticizing his situation. He has that contract. He earned it. But you need to make new stars. And Samoa Joe is new to WWE, and he is a star. He is a potential huge star, and you can make him a monster. And maybe have it a situation where Brock Lesnar barely beats him. This needs to be at least a 10 to 15 minute long match, and Brock really needs to look like have exasperated looks like, what the hell do I have to do to beat this guy? And Joe needs to have a couple of moments where he almost beats him. I mean, I'd even go so far as to say, let Joe hit the Muscle Buster at some point, get a super close near fall, get him in the Coquina clutch at some point, and Brock barely get out. So it needs to make Joe look strong. I don't think Joe's going to win this match at Great Balls of Fire, but it needs to be really close. It needs to be good, and Brock Lesnar just can't go through and just demolish people. I think it would be actually good if Samoa Joe won, even though we all know all roads lead to WrestleMania and Brock Lesnar losing to Roman Reigns and giving the title over to the Samoan Superman. We know that's how it's going to go. And it is what it is. And that's one of the reasons why it's so hard to care about what goes on Monday Night Raw, because at this point Monday Night Raw is the Roman Reigns show, and that's just, and it's not a slight against Roman Reigns. I like Roman Reigns as a worker. He's done some great matches, but I'm sick of him being shoved down our throat. I unfortunately did not see anything else this week. The one thing I really, really want to see is Dominion, which was New Japan Pro Wrestling, which was on late last night, early this morning. I am planning on watching it today. It's something I know that Floyd and I are going to talk about next week on the show. So that is something we are going to do. I didn't even get a chance to see NXT. I did see Ring of Honor, which I want to watch because I really want to see that Hangman Page Adam Cole match. But one thing I did want to talk about, normally we do a top 5 every week here on the Around the Ring. And this week I'm going to do my own little top 3. My top 3 matches of 2017 so far. So far it's been a great year for pro wrestling. We've had some tremendous matches, and these are what I think are the 3 favorites. And you could make an argument 3 of the best ever. At number 3, we have from the Best of the Super Juniors, Will Ospreay taking on Kushida. Just stupidly good match, and Kushida getting the win. Fantastic. Will Ospreay is a tremendous talent. They both are. Just go watch it. Yeah, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Best of the Super Juniors 2017 final. Check that out. Number 2 on my list is from the Royal Rumble. It's AJ Styles versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. All 3 of these matches, by the way, 5-star plus matches. This one was amazing. It was the culmination kind of the feud these 2 guys had, and John Cena finally got his win back, which stunk, but it didn't matter because the match was so breathtakingly brilliant. It was just incredible. I mean, you've got AJ Styles, best wrestler in the world, and then you've got John Cena, a guy who is good, and if he's in there with a great opponent, he can be great. And that's what AJ did. AJ brought some of the best out of him, and I think AJ is one of John Cena's best rivals, best opponents. So yeah, there's that. And then number 1, this should be no shock to anyone because it is probably going to be match of the year on damn near everyone's list. From Wrestle Kingdom back in January, Okada versus Kenny Omega, the 6-star special per Dave Meltzer. You know, that I remember watching that match and afterwards just sitting there going, wow, that is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. It was tremendous. We get the rematch at Dominion, which I will be watching at some point today, very soon, hopefully. And so those are the top 3 matches of 2017, in my humble opinion. If you haven't seen these matches, do yourself a favor, go out of your way, see all 3. Even if you're someone that's not a WWE fan, or better yet, if you're a WWE fan that's never watched New Japan Pro Wrestling, you need to get on that, because New Japan is something special. And you need to watch those 2 matches. Kushida and Ospreay, Omega and Okada. Do it now, do it hard, do it long, because it'll be worth every glorious second. Well, that's going to do it for us for this week here on Around the Ring. Don't forget to follow the show on social media. You can hit us up, Facebook and Twitter, at Around the Ring OK. Floyd live tweets during the Raws, the SmackDowns, and the pay-per-views. It's entertaining stuff. He's got his hot takes going on. And, and I'm probably at home doing something with my kids because, adulting. But that's going to do it for us. Next week is episode 100. We have a great top 5. We're going to do our top 5 favorite submission maneuvers. I'm going to have to really put some work into that one. I have my top 2, but we will we will get there. That's going to be fun. Next week, we're going to talk about whatever else has hit the fan. We've got Money in the Bank coming up sometime soon, so we may do predictions for that. I can't remember when that happens. We'll talk New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion, anything else that comes up during the week, and yeah, that's going to do it. So everyone out there, you guys be safe, and as the great Jerry Springer used to always say, take care of yourselves and each other.